The book of Second Esdras, chapter 16 and verse 19. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. Before I get started, I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to you, hopefully elect. I'm your brother Yahweh Call from Great Millstone, Orlando. And I got this video here by Steve Ram. Basically just bringing out or resurfacing certain information that has been going on for some time now as far as these bank closures, because Trump is pretty much putting a spotlight on it. All right. He's even Trump has even been calling out certain of the CEO of these banks. All right, because what's believed is going on as far as these bank closures. People are just waking up and all of a sudden their bank has been shut down without any explanation. And the excuse is, these individuals are basically forgot what's the word they used? Basically a potential threat, and again, it's being believed that with these bank closures, they're specifically being targeted. More specifically, conservatives, which basically, conservatives, they're pretty much against the NWO, the New World Order. All right. As well as religious people, so they believe that, certain people are being targeted with these bank closures. And again, Trump is calling it out, been calling it out. But again, they're making the excuse that it has nothing to do with religious reasons, political reasons, or anything like that. It's just these individuals that all of a sudden their bank has been closed, been shut down. They're potential threats for whatever reason. All right. And like I said, this has been going on. Again, Trump is just really bringing it back to light. All right. But nevertheless, more and more when you're heading towards that time of leaning on Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, walking in complete faith. All right. Because when you read verse 2 Esdras 16 and 20 says, but for all these, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. So the point that I wanted to start off with this was the scourges. All right. Basically the warnings. All right. Because all in all, there will be a day when we wake up and things are just going to be different. All right. It's going to be a totally new way of living. A complete dystopian environment. All right. Everything's going to be different. All right. So with that being said, I'm just going to play the first maybe 5 minutes of this video without further ado.
U.S. banks are abruptly closing accounts without warning, causing panic throughout the United States. And people are scrambling to figure out, how am I going to pay my bills? I need to go ahead and create other accounts to transfer funds, and I need to make sure I take care of all of my obligations, as this is suddenly happening abruptly with no warning and with no explanation. And I'm going to be sharing with you the latest because we're hearing that this is growing and people are not sure why. And I can tell you for a fact that this is happening because this has recently happened to me. I suddenly had accounts shut down with no explanation and was scrambling to make sure that I could make the arrangements to not have my finances messed up as a result of this. So this is taking taking place here, and they're saying more of this is likely going to be on the way. I'm going to share with you exactly why they're saying this is happening and how this could suddenly hit unexpected people all over the nation. But let's take a look at the latest headlines, and I'm going to share with you the video footage as this is starting to come up. Take a look. JP Morgan Chase CEO has admitted in the last 48 hours, U.S. banks, they are pushing people out of the system after Trump hammers Chase, Bank of America, over abrupt account termination. So I'm glad to see this coming up in the last 48 hours, that this is being addressed. I'm going to share with you exactly what it is that he said, and I'm also going to play for you the video footage so you can see what Donald Trump had to say. And take a look. Coming out last month, Elizabeth Warren actually vocalized this as well. Ahead of the banking committee hearing, Warren calls on President Trump to prevent debanking of Americans. This is what they're calling what is taking place here. And the primary banks that this is happening at, if you bank at one of these, be aware, Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, and Citibank is where we are seeing debanking, closing of accounts abruptly without explanation taking place. And when asked why, simply no information is provided. Now, debanking complaints, they are on the rise. What is behind Trump's complaints? You can see this coming out January 27th. So this has been, unfolding for a while now, and now it's coming up in the forefront, as in the last 48 hours, we have an admission here by JP Morgan Chase. Now, this has been going on for a while, though, and here's some of the explanations, and let me know your thoughts. Trump says JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, won't do business with conservatives. Do you think that this is the reason they are shutting down conservatives' bank accounts? Also, big banks discriminating against Christians, ministries, and churches. Do you think that this is a reason for sudden shutdowns without explanation? Shame on Chase Bank for abruptly closing my account. I can't access any of my money, and it could have been avoided. Bank of America boycott calls grow after MAGA accounts are closed at Bank of America. You can see this was last year, so this has been going on for quite some time. And take a look here, Reddit posts for the past couple of years, but just recently, 2 days ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, growing complaints of sudden closures of accounts abruptly being shut down without warning and without cause and without explanation. And like I said, I can tell you firsthand that this is taking place. Now, let me know your thoughts. Now, I'm going to share with you what it was that they had to say, as they are saying that the reason why this is happening is because there are accounts that they are identifying as high risk. Yet, let me know your thoughts. My accounts were shut down. I might be high risk. Or, also, it happens, I am a Christian, and even though I try to report the news objectively and unbiased and cite my sources, I am a conservative. Do you think that my accounts were shut down because I'm high risk? If so, put a 1, and I don't know what the definition of high risk is. Or if you think that maybe there's something else to it, which is what Trump is insinuating, put a 2 in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. But we're hearing that this is growing. So if you happen to be high risk or a Christian or a conservative, be aware that this is taking place right now, and you suddenly could have your accounts shut down, depending on what the true source and reason is of this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Drop a 1 or a 2, and I'm going to get you caught up on the latest so you know exactly what is going on. Now, before we dive in, do me a quick favor. If you appreciate the updates, keeping you up to speed on everything that's taking place, don't forget, take a quick second, hit that like button for me. Help spread this out further so more people can get the latest updates. In addition to that, feel free to share it out as well.
So there you have it. All right. Like I said, you can watch the rest of this video by Steve Ram. For the most part, he brings out resources, useful information, credible information. So, with that being said, again, I want to read this again, 2 Ezra 16 and 19. Behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for a minute. All right. So again, all in all, to the hopeful elect, and it's a spirit that, from the apostles and certain elders with the whole situation, the newest madness in Israel. You've been hearing it a lot through the spirit about getting your house in order, getting your house in order, getting your house in order. Again, speaking to the hopeful elect, because greater things are coming down the pipes. All right. And, being that we are part of the system, all right, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, it's going to get difficult for all of us. Like I said in the beginning, we're more and more getting to that time of walking in complete faith in Yahweh Shema Shai. All right. Now, me personally, I haven't heard of anything about brothers, basically falling victim to this, waking up to your bank account just being shut down. But nevertheless, all of our livelihoods are under attack. All right. And these are nothing but scourges. These are nothing but warnings. All right. If you have the spiritual discernment to see and understand the times that we're in, as the scripture said, a prudent man hideth himself. All right. And again, spiritually speaking, because, I say that it's not in a carnal sense. We're not stacking up food, guns, gold, ammo, and things of that nature. But again, getting our house in order. And it starts with our mental state. All right. It starts in our head, man, being prepared to walk away from it all, being prepared to detach. Now I want to go into that word scourges, I want to go into that word anguish. Looking up some of the definitions and is rather interesting what I found. Because you have all type of tests going on. Again, the scourges. All right. You have all type of beta test, small test here and there. All right. Esau's getting ready to make a move. So just looking up this word anguish on the dictionary online, some of the definitions, I'm just going to go through some of them. One for distress. One of the definitions is going into distress, which goes into one of the definitions for distress. It goes into extreme anxiety. All right. These people have faith, because that's the thing about it. Everyone has faith in something. All right. People go to sleep at night knowing that they're going to wake up tomorrow. That's faith. You sit at a bus stop, you don't see the bus coming, but it's coming. That's faith. You see, it might be a vain faith, all right, a hopeless faith, but nevertheless, everyone has faith in something. And to these people, they have faith in this society continuing on. Every day is just going to be, business as usual. Life is just going to go on. You're going to grow up in the society and die. Right. And, that's just it. This is the last generation. So we understand that what the Lord said was going to happen is going to happen. It's going to come to pass. All right. But that extreme anxiety, like I said, because these people, they're comfortable, and for the most part, they don't know how to handle uncomfortable situations. So, something's going to happen, wherever it is, and it's going to cause these people to be in extreme state of anxiety, not knowing what to do, where to go. Because again, like I said, we're all caught up into the system. So, it's our livelihood that's being attacked. Just imagine waking up one day and your bank is closed and you can't pay your bills. You can't buy food, groceries. All right. Another definition going back into anxiety was, there's a few of them, quite a few, but I just want to get to the points. Another one I found rather interesting was despair. Because like I said, that extreme anxiety, right? That distress, just waking up and, and like I said, you can't pay your bills, you can't eat. Just that extreme feeling of hopelessness, confusion, because that's a very horrible feeling, and that's why to those of us, the hopeful elect, we understand that we don't have no power. And again, that's why we are completely trusting in Yahweh Shema Shai, because we have no power. All right. These people, they have a sense of power. They're entitled. They're proud. And when Yahweh Shema Shai strips that from them, we can only imagine. Real soon we're going to see, but as of right now, we can only imagine. So going into this definition of despair, it says the complete loss or absence of hope. So there's another one, another good one, an extreme state of hopelessness, which that's a horrible feeling, you know. And, again, because as men, and I'll talk about hopefully like brothers, as men, especially those of us young men, you know, we try to do the right thing. We try to handle our responsibilities as men, and oftentimes I notice, you might get things might not go your way. Like I said, here it is. You're trying as a young man, trying to operate in this, godforsaken world, trying to do the right thing. And then shit just happens to where things aren't going your way. And it's just like you try to take 2 steps forward just to take 10 steps back. And it's just, it's frustrating. Like I said, you fall in that state of depression and things of that nature, which is it's a good thing, because like I said, we're young men trying, but we're going to fall, we're going to make mistakes. That's a quality trait of one of our forefathers, Jacob, when he was, after his time served being under Lebanon, he wanted to, take his wives, his substances, and he wanted to go out and, be a man, so that's a good attitude to have. But things don't happen the way that we want them to. Shit happens. Like I said, you take 2 steps forward just to take 10 steps back. And it's frustrating, because you're trying to do the right thing. But going back to the point that I was making, that's why, ultimately you just have to leave it in the Lord's hands. All right. We just have to completely trust in Yahweh Shema Shai. All right. Because again, that feeling of hopelessness, like I said, as a young man, you try to make the right decisions. You try to do the right thing. When things happen and you get that feeling of hopelessness, and that's why oftentimes you fall into that state of depression, you're down or whatever the case may be. But if Yahweh Shema Shai is dealing with you, then you're going to be all right. And again, that's the whole point. It's in the Lord's hand. All we could do is give a sincere effort and just leave it in the Lord's hands. All right. But that applies to us. To these people, they're going to be in that state of despair, complete hopelessness, man. And like I said, I just said all that to say that feeling of being hopeless, it's a horrible feeling. It's a terrible feeling, and that's why, all these definitions that they have here, because anguish, it can go into physical pain and suffering, but also mental. You see, it can also go into mental suffering, and oftentimes the things that we play out in our mind is worse than reality, what reality is. And that's why, hey, on another note, we have to stay out of our own head. That's something that I have a habit, of being in my head too much, but all these definitions are good. There's another one I want to get, which is, well, actually 2 more. I didn't see this one. One, it says hell on earth. That's one of the definitions for anguish, hell on earth. And that's exactly what Yahweh Shema Shai is getting ready to bring on earth, hell. All right. Which in this sense, it's a condition. All right. Because hell can often be referred to a condition or literally, being in the ground. All right. And again, Yahweh Shema Shai, the scriptures go into how, that staff and stay of bread, just the Lord's going to strip all forms of comfort. All right. The Lord is about to bring the pain. All right. The scriptures say that these people, they're going to be dwelling in torments. Right now, these people, they're living it up. They dwell in comfort. Everything is on easy mode for these people. Like I said, these people don't know what it is to be wanting. They don't know what it is to be without. They don't know what it feels like to be uncomfortable, for the most part. But Yahweh Shema Shai is about to bring the squeeze on these people. These people are about to be in a real pitiful case, man. But the last definition, which I found interesting, it says the dark night the dark night of the soul. Now that reminds me of, matter of fact, let me see what this says here in the dark night of the soul. Because, when you just go on Google, type in a definition, type in a word, get the definition, it gives you a bunch of, synonyms of similar words. And you can click the words. It'll give you, a brief summary definition. So I want to get the definition for this word, the dark night of the soul, which the hour of temptation comes to mind. And that's why I started off with that here in 2 Ezra 16, because these are small preludes. This is only a test, because everyone's going to be tried. You see, everyone's going to be tried, because everything is leading up to the MOTB. Yahweh Shema Shai, the scriptures go into how the Lord's holding back the winds of the destruction. Why? Well, first and foremost, the elect, they got to get sealed. But these prophecies, all right, have to come to pass. And the Lord is moving everything into place. And it really seems like the only thing that we're really waiting on is that MOTB. All right. So when that comes to place, it's that pressure building in the pipes. The winds, the angels holding back the winds of the destruction. The Lord is building up the pressure. And eventually those pipes are going to burst. All right. So however this happens, however it plays out, that MOTB is going to, come suddenly, I would imagine. Right? Bear with me. Because I was making a point. Everyone's going to be tested, tried. All right. Even these Israelite groups, they don't believe in the MOTB. Well, regardless, you're still going to have to make a choice. All right. And that's what's cold about it. Whether you believe the MOTB is that insertable device or not, regardless, you're still going to have to everyone's going to have to make a choice. All right. Now, the difference is because you have Jake that asks these questions. Well, what if the so-called white man, what if he straps me down and forces me to take it? Well, ultimately, if that does happen, then ultimately you're not of the elect. All right. But overall, you got to remember, this is the Most High. It's the Lord's hip, and it will be a thing of willingness, a willing mind. All right. You see, so you're not going to be forced to take the hip, but everyone will be forced to make a decision. All right. That's the only thing that we're all going to be forced to do. A choice is going to have to be made. All right. And that's what it's going to boil down to. So even these Israelite camps, they don't believe the MOTB is that insertable device, but you're still going to have to make a decision. That's what's cold about it. And this applies outside of Israel as well. To the world, the scriptures say the world is going to be tried. So this applies to these Bible Belt Christians and so on and so forth. These conservatives, these people that say they believe in Jesus, and everyone's going to be forced in making a decision. So that's what this reminds me of when it says the dark night of the soul. All right, that hour of temptation. All right, where everyone's faith is going to be put to the ultimate test. All right, because again, our livelihoods are being attacked. All right, and Esau, he's not going to ease up. It's just going to be more and more pressure. All right, So going back to 2 Ezra 16 and 2 Ezra 16 and 19, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for an amendment. So you see, it's going to be all hell. Like I mentioned, one of the definitions, hell on earth. It's not going to be one thing, It's not like famine is going to be happening 1 month, and then the next month, people are going to be torn to pieces by wild beasts, and then the next month, martial law is declared. Then martial law is lifted, and then all these things are going to be happening at once. Everything's going to be happening at once. The world is going to be overwhelmed with the Lord's judgments. All right. Like I said, man, it's going to be literal hell on earth. And America is going to be the worst place to be real soon. All right. But these are just the warnings. It's just, hey, these are the scourges. You know, our livelihoods are already being attacked, but it's only going to get worse. It's going to get harder. It's going to get more difficult. But that's not to sow doubt, because again, if you say you trust the Lord, if we say we trust the Lord, then hey, well, that's going to be put to the test. Because the time is coming, we're going to have to detach, man. I'm going to go to this in Isaiah. Again, get that house in order. Start with our mind, Be ready to leave all this shit behind. Isaiah 10. Be ready to leave all this behind, man. That includes, for some brothers, it's going to be the women. Some brothers are going to have to leave their families behind. Because, some brothers that have wives and children, families, we all have loved ones, And for some of our families, hey, through you, being a man of the Lord, they'll be saved. But for some, it's not going to be the case, because the Lord has it out. Like I said, we have loved ones and things of that nature. But hey, that don't mean that the Lord, is going to spare them in some cases. And hey, we have to be willing to, hey, I'm not willing to get in the way of judgment for anybody. All right. I'm trying to make it for myself, and that's why it's important, because like the scriptures talk about how, hey, in not so many words, roughly paraphrasing, not only are we, well, for the elect, not only will they save themselves, which salvation is already predestined. So it doesn't come by anything that we do on our own accord, but not only can we be saved, but those that hear us, just certain of our family, loved ones, and they'll receive salvation through you being a man of the Lord. So that's why it's important to do the work. Isaiah 10 and 27, and it shall come to pass in that day that this burden shall be taken away from off thy shoulder, and his yoke from off thy neck, and the yoke shall be destroyed because of the anointing. So going into a complete detaching of the system. All right. Because in order for the new system to be ushered in, the old system has to be done away with. So like I said, one day we're going to wake up and it's going to be completely different. It's going to be a new way of buying and selling. It's just going to be a whole new dystopian environment, just all bad. All right. And again, we have to be ready to leave all this behind. All right. Like I said, his burden shall be taken away from off thy shoulder, and his yoke from off thy neck. So the time is coming. We're not going to have to wake up in order to make ends meet. The time is coming. We're not going to have to go to work, work these bullshit 9-to-5 jobs. We're not going to be waking up to alarm clocks. All right. It's the one day we're going to wake up. It's not going to be business as usual. It's just going to be totally different. All right. Totally different. You see, the way that we see life as it is, again, everything is out of convenience, comfort, safety, security. If you want something to eat, you can just go to the grocery store, right? But again, imagine that when you wake up and your bank account is shut down, you can't pay for food, you can't pay your bills, right? And even furthermore, as the prophecy states in Revelation 13, in order to buy and sell, you have to have that C-hip. And it's bad enough. These Americans, again, everything is built off of comfort. For the most part, these Americans, they don't know how to hunt for food. They don't know how to gut a fish, clean the fish, things of that nature, make fires and nothing like that. Everything is in the name of comfort, where the Lord is about to strip that comfort from everyone. So going back to what I was saying earlier, that's why, Lord willing, we're out of that number, man. It's going to boil down to faith, the just walking by faith, complete faith in Yahweh Shema Shai. Because this system is about to be done away with. And more and more, the Lord is showing these signs, man. He's letting us know that, hey, I'm about to shut this shit down. So get your house in order, get our house in order, get your mind right. You know, this shit is about to be different. But just more scourges for a minute, you know. Like I said, this is something that's been going on. But the fact that the Lord has these things resurfacing, hey, again, those scourges, because the Lord is very repetitive, and that's for a reason. All right, so Lord, one of this was edifying. All praises to Yahweh Basham Shai. Shalom.